Every year in America, we have an event called the Super Bowl, and during the Super Bowl, there are a lot of trailers, and I'm going to talk about the ones that I saw that I thought were interesting. Mortimer is on my lap, and he is part of this. And I'm mostly doing this because I do think this year is going to be a year of a lot of blockbusters, and I think if we don't take a look every so often and say, okay, here's what's coming up, some of these are going to sneak up on us. And I'm mostly doing this because A, one trailer came out earlier this week that I really talk about and I have a couple things to say, and B, like, it feels like this year was kind of light on these. I remember back in 2020, there was that ad that had clips of WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki. I remember seeing that and going, oh my God, that's so much stuff. And this is the first time I've seen any of this. I feel like by now, the Super Bowl has become a bunch of things you've already kind of seen, and maybe one or two new things. But still, those new things are kind of interesting, the things I want to talk about on this channel. But all right, we're not going to waste any time here because A, it's Sunday night, I'd like to go to sleep, and B, there's honestly not too many things here. So let's start with like one of the easier ones, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. We saw a bunch of stuff. I think it's so funny how much this like franchise and how much we as a culture have lent into the Tom Cruise running thing. Like, it was always a thing that he ran, but I don't think it was always the selling point of the movie. But of course, this trailer has to start with that because that is so iconic. I think it's interesting how much this trailer was trying to sell you on two things. First, obviously, is stunts. A lot of plane stuff, a little bit of underwater stuff, although it seems like, based on, I think, what we've heard about this movie, the underwater stuff is going to be very significant. And the plane stuff looked cool. Don't get me wrong, but the second thing this trailer was trying to sell was finality. This is the last chapter, the final reckoning, as it were, not a dead reckoning, final, which is more than dead, leading to bits where Ethan is hugging Benji or Luther and making this into this big finale. We see the knife from Mission Impossible 1, and it's back as that classic knife that I would never, ever recognize in a million years. I think it's interesting that the single moment that stood out to me the most from this trailer is Palm Clementif doing some sort of action scene. It does seem like she's now a friend, the classic bad guy to friend pipeline that the Fast and Furious movies tend to end up following. Also very interesting, no Fast and Furious trailer, but a Fast and Furious themed commercial for ice cream. That last movie is never coming out. But I don't know, Mission Impossible, it was a quick one, looks exciting. Again, it's this announcement, it's a shot across the bow. We are a big movie coming out this year. Another big movie coming out this year, a lot of money behind it seems like. How to Train Your Dragon, the live action one. I just gotta say, I still really dislike the look of this movie. And I think one of the things that I noticed about it is that, like, adapting certain parts of the visual style of this movie, right? Adapting the dragons, say, hard but not impossible, because they like are dragons. We don't know what they look like. They don't have a style that is specific to a time or a place or anything like that. I do think that Hiccup's haircut works in the original How to Train Your Dragon movie because it was kind of the style at the time, whereas now it doesn't even kind of work. It looks really weird in live action. Obviously, there's a lot of things about that movie that look weird in live action. I do think a lot of the effects and like the dragon stuff looks pretty cool. Now, I do think there was still a lot from that trailer that was working for me. Like, there were moments where the score would kick in and he was flying that did, kind of affect me, but mostly in a, I really enjoyed this the time I watched it and really liked the first movie, and then also saw the stage show, which is another story. But yeah, I'm not thrilled about that. In that same vein, although ones that worked for me, one of the commercials was a bit where, like, Stitch is running on the field and everybody's trying to catch him, and they're like, what is this little guy? He's driving the cart. That reminds me of those old Lilo and Stitch commercials where, like, it would seem like a trailer for, like, Beauty and the Beast, but then Stitch would be in it and he would ruin it, and then it would be like, oh, this new guy, he's causing problems. So I like that we're not just redoing those and, like, redoing them, which you could in the new live action versions, but we're taking Stitch and fitting him into the thing that we're watching, because Stitch is fun. And taking like that or doing like a promo on Dancing with the Stars or The Bachelor or whatever could be equally fun because of just the idea of throwing Stitch into a thing. Overall, though, not incredibly excited for that one either. Oh, and there's that F1 movie that there was a trailer for it. I have no opinion on that. And just like that, we're down to the big two. There were only two more trailers. And obviously, the Fantastic Four trailer came out earlier this week. I don't know if it was always the plan just to not put it in the Super Bowl, but have it get announced around the time of the Super Bowl, because that is when, like I was saying, a lot of these movies are being thrown out there is like, this is going to be one of the big movies later in this year. I don't know, because I would have liked to see that in the Super Bowl. But speaking of another trailer that came out this week and then did make it into the Super Bowl, you had, and by Super Bowl I mean big game, because they all call them the big game spot, because they can't say the word Super Bowl because it's copywritten or something, which I'm using it, I guess, as a parody. I don't know, whatever's going to work. But yeah, Super Bowl people, don't sue me or whatever. Also, Super Bowl people, what a wild Super Bowl. I did not expect the Chiefs to stink, but they did. They stunk big time, and that was pretty fun. And I'm not even a humongous Eagles fan, even though I lived in Philly for a while, but I just love to see, the underdog win a game like this. By underdog, I mean like one of the teams with the most dominant, offensive player in the league, just doing his thing. Anyway, we're not talking football here. Also, Kendrick Lamar, great. Obviously, he's great, and the performance was cool. I'm a little bummed that Millie Bobby Brown didn't show up, because I do think that would have been the final nail in the coffin. Although apparently that's kind of what the Williams sister was doing there. She used to be a Drake girlfriend. I don't know. But okay, to the big two. Earlier this week, we got a trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't know. It's these titles, man. Like, I do think if they're going to do another trilogy, which it seems like, I imagine they're going to try to do. I imagine they're going to try to do these until we get tired of them, which seems to be 3. They should just give it a new name. See, the problem is we shouldn't have gone to World. It should have been Jurassic Park. And then the last 3 movies should have been Jurassic Country. And this should be Jurassic World. Although I guess the thing with this movie is it seems to be going a little smaller in scope, basically doing like Jurassic Parks 2 and 3 again. So I guess this should feel more like a Jurassic Park. And if that's the case, just call it Jurassic Park Rebirth. That's fine. But I guess the World movies made $1 billion. So what are we going to do? Here's my 2 things about this trailer. 1, ScarJo looks orange as hell. Like, that is not her fault. I don't think she came on looking like that. I think that is all the color grading. And I kind of like the color in this trailer. Like, I do think it is a very vivid, exciting looking movie. But just because of how, tan they've made this character, this is true for all the guys, but I think ScarJo, it's for some reason just the most prominent. Maybe because she doesn't have like dorky Atlantis glasses on like Jonathan Bailey. But that stood out to me. And also, I love how ScarJo is short in this movie, because she is short in the world, the real world, not even the Jurassic World. She's like 5'2" or something like that. And in those Avengers movies, they always, probably have her on a crate or whatever, use whatever trickery they use to make another actor look the height that everyone thinks he is. So she's always like at an average height there. But this is like, nah, she's much smaller than the rest of these guys. So that's the first thing I noticed about the trailer. Second thing I noticed about the trailer, not really anything incredibly exciting. I think I was talking to Antonio about this before from the book club, is like Gareth Edwards, director of this movie, directed Rogue One. Now, I think Rogue One is not like a perfect Star Wars movie or anything like that, but I do think it is visually very distinct when it gets to be. Like, I think all the stuff on Scarif when they're fighting the AT-ATs is great looking. And I remember the first trailer having that bit where they shoot like a rocket at the AT-AT and it kind of like takes it and then just keeps going. And seeing that from that angle is very unusual. I was kind of hoping for something like that with dinosaurs. And obviously Jurassic Park already did scope with dinosaurs. It's always done that. But I was hoping Gareth would bring something new there, and there would be something in this trailer that would be like the wow, amazing. I just don't think there was anything super exciting here. That being said, I like Jonathan Bailey. I like Scarlett Johansson. I love Mahershala Ali. So I do think this movie will probably be pretty watchable. I do want to mention too, and this is a really small thing, it seems like the trailer messed up a joke that I think is going to work in the movie. And maybe not like be an amazing joke, but just have the correct setup, right? Because there's the bit where the team is getting surrounded by all the swimming dinosaurs, and Jonathan Bailey says all the bad things, like, oh, it's gonna eat us, and it's humongous, and they're surrounding us, whatever. And then Scarlett Johansson said, none of those are good things. And then the dinosaur comes, and like, that is supposed to be a funny sentence, right? That's supposed to be a joke, but I don't think that works if it isn't preceded by what I'm imagining is her line, which will be like, tell me something good. And he just says all these bad things, and then she says, none of those are good. Because then that's like at least how a joke works. Like, I don't think you can just throw out the punchline of the joke without doing the setup in a trailer and expect people to have a reaction to it. Besides it feeling like kind of a hollow, like, oh yeah, that kind of sounds like what a joke will sound like. But yeah, I mean, and this is coming from someone who thinks Jurassic Park 1 is like one of the perfect movies. I've seen it 1 billion times, and it holds up, and I think the other ones are okay. They get progressively worse as time goes on, but hey, at least that 5th one had a dinosaur auction, so that was pretty cool. Also, I hear the show is kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't have incredibly high hopes for this movie. That being said, it is coming out between Superman and Fantastic Four, so that month might be just an insane month for movies. Like, we are going to be at the movies once every couple of days, or Superman or Fantastic Four kind of take all the air out of the room, or both of them do. And everybody who saw one of them was like, I'm gonna go see the other one at the end of the month. I don't really want to go see Jurassic Park this week. I'll wait until it comes to VOD or something. Because like, what is it? It's just more Jurassic Park stuff. It's not gonna be like spoilers or anything like that. So anyway, my opinions on this Jurassic World Rebirth, not incredibly strong, but it'll probably either make $1 bazillion, or maybe this will be the one that where you finally go, we don't need these anymore. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Speaking of movies that might make $1 billion, the only other trailer of note, at least the only one that I could find stuff from online, and there was Superman stuff at the Puppy Ball, though I don't think there was that much. We did get like some fun new looks at Guy Gardner and of Crypto, but like nothing incredibly consequential. But we got a trailer for Thunderbolts asterisk, and I do think I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Like I've been doing it badly, because perhaps the asterisk means, like it usually does when it comes to like sports stats, these guys are technically not the Thunderbolts, they're technically something else, but I think we should be pronouncing it like Thunderbolts, or like Thunderbolts. But obviously, obviously New Avengers, or obviously Dark Avengers, but Thunderbolts. So I'm gonna just call it Thunderbolts from now on. We saw like a new full trailer for this movie, starting with footage that seems like it's from pretty late in the movie. There was a point watching the last trailer where I was like, I think I kind of see how this movie happens. I think I could kind of chart most of the important beats here, and there was a little bit of stuff at the end, and I was like, well, what's this though? Who's fighting who, and like why are we here? And now we know, because we've seen it in this trailer. So spoilers for Thunderbolts, because these are spoilers in the sense that like they're in the trailer, and we are months from this movie still coming out. So this is stuff that I think will be revealed by Funko Pops and stuff. But we got some looks at the bad guy of the movie, which beyond being Val, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who I'm always happy to see more of here. It seems like it is going to be the Sentry, a character from Marvel Comics who is like the Superman of Marvel Comics, but also he has like a very hard to define dissociative identity thing where there is an alternate personality that is maybe him or maybe not him. Maybe he created it, or maybe it came from like another evil dimension. It's called the Void, and it's just like plain old bad. And what it seems like, based on the presence of the darkness in the trailer, and also just all the people getting smushed, which I love, very good visual, very scary and weird, is that the Void is going to be the bad guy in this, and that makes sense. And I also think it's interesting because like the Sentry is a complicated character when you get down to what his origin really is, because of all the retcons associated with him. And this is a character that's only been around for like, I don't know, 20-ish years, but he still had his backstory retconned a bazillion times. I do think, and I said this before, because Julia Louis-Dreyfus felt very comfortable talking about gamma stuff during her day drinking with Seth Meyers.
Well, because you have the gamma rays, and they sort of lift you up and give you a kind of, and then you can transform much easier.
I do think he's going to be a gamma experiment, and I think they'll really streamline it with like, this guy had gamma experiments and they gave him the power to like manifest whatever and to make himself a superhero, but also he has some sort of dark side that comes out whenever someone tries to control him too much or something. I don't know. But we still didn't get a lot of looks at him, right? Like we didn't see much but a side of maybe his glove and his hair and some silhouettes. So, I'm happy that they're hiding this. Again, this is something that we'll definitely see t-shirts of and stuff before the movie comes out. But I do think beyond that, like beyond the Sentry stuff, that's probably what you would expect to be the highlight of this trailer. I think this movie just looks pretty fun. Like the Thunderbolts together feel like a team that's got a fun energy. They have good chemistry. Yelena is a character people really like. Alexei is a character that's very fun, and he can be a little much, but I think in the right circumstances, like handled the right way, he could be great. I love the idea that he is kind of fanboying over the Winter Soldier, talking about how cool he is. Obviously, Bucky's great, and Sebastian Stan having a really killer year, so I'm happy for him to bring that energy into Thunderbolts. And the rest of the guys in it look cool too. I feel like I don't even need to say it, but Taskmaster's not in it very much, and I'm fine with that. And I think we're all fine with that. So great. One thing that I love about this trailer is the music. And it reminds me of the music from the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer when they used like a prayer song, which did end up in the movie. Like sometimes music from trailers is just in the trailer, but sometimes they'll take like something from the soundtrack of the movie and use that in the promotion. This could be one or the other, right? I could see a bit where like Alexei has one CD. Oh, it's his favorite CD. Loved every day. Listen to Russian Prison, and he puts it in the thing at one point, and it's this. And everybody's like, "That's your CD, Alexei? This is so corny." Whatever. Also, it wouldn't be a CD. It would be a tape or something, or an 8-track or whatever. Thank you, Correction Jackals. Well, maybe it would be a CD. I mean, who cares? But either way, I like the juxtaposition, the very dark, very exciting superhero-y finale mixed with the very light, high-pitched, triumphant song, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. Like, I think that feels really fun, and it like creates the same feeling that the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer did, which is like, this is a serious thing, but it's fun. And it's not gonna be exactly what you'd expect. We're gonna have a clashing of like patterns and a clashing of like the aesthetic of the movie mixed with the heart of this team coming together, and I don't know, I like it all. Bucky getting his arm ripped off, very scary. Yeah, cool. I hope they don't kill Julia Louis-Dreyfus in this. I hope that character sticks around for a little bit, because I like her and I'd like to see more of her. But overall, a pretty quiet Super Bowl for trailers, and I can't complain because we got the Fantastic Four trailer earlier this week. Oh, and it's interesting, no Captain America, at least none that I could see, no new Captain America footage, because I think they've shown every minute from that movie. I don't think there's anything new. I think there's maybe two cameos that are going to happen that we can expect, and I honestly was expecting a trailer that showed that, and I think if we got that, me or someone else online could just edit the whole movie together from the 80 trailers we already have. So, you know, good on you, Marvel, for not showing more Captain America. Let's see how that goes, because that comes out very soon. But those are the 5 trailers that we did see. And let's talk about the other thing we love, this video's sponsor, Nebula. If you've never heard of it before, Nebula is a subscription streaming service that me and a bunch of other YouTubers, a lot of people you're probably already watching, created because we wanted to have more control over our videos, we didn't want to have to cater to the algorithm, and we wanted to offer a better experience to you guys so you can watch all of my videos. They're all early. Some of them are like a full month early, some of them are like a day early, but every video goes up first on Nebula, and that is Nando V Movies, and that is the Nando Cut, both of my channels, and they're completely ad-free, so there's no ads in the middle, and there's no sponsor read at the end. And in 2025, we have so much cool stuff that we are working on. One thing that I am very excited about is a show called Abolish Everything. This is a live show that happens in the city where people come in and bring something that they hate, and they give a short presentation on why it should be abolished. Then a panel of experts goes in and questions them. And I'm excited for Abolish Everything because, like Nebula, we have a reputation for being very smart. We have a lot of very, very educated people who do research and make documentaries, but we also have a lot of really funny people. And I am excited to see that side of Nebula growing. And I always say, a year of Nebula is a steal at $5 a month or $60 a year. But if you go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut, you can get a year of Nebula for $3 a month. It is an incredible deal. Go check it out. You're going to love it. That's all I got. Stay safe. I'll see you next time.